Where I want to start is where I was, and I want to take a page from Linda's story a little bit, because I think that's a great place to start. And you were saying something about a pain, or you were noticing, paying attention is what you said, and that triggered me. Because there's this great acronym out there about pain, which is pay attention inward now. And I love it, because when I think back about when I first started with Lisa, I was in a lot of pain, physically, emotionally, spiritually, professionally. It was not a good time. And there's another quote that I was noticing at the time, which was, your life is always speaking to you. What is it saying? Mine was not happy at all. I had just had my second child, second C-section. I had survived 2 what I call soul-crushing layoffs professionally. So that was very difficult. I didn't know, a lot of my identity was tied up with my work. And so I had this sort of, I don't know who I am now, and then motherhood. I mean, forget about that, anybody who's a mother in here. It's like, just hand over your identity, throw it out the door, because you're a mom now. And there was so much more. And one of the symptoms that I was paying attention to was that I was very unhealthy. I was over 200 pounds. I couldn't move in my body. My body couldn't support doing very much at all. And that was more devastating to me than anything. So when I first sat with Lisa, I don't know if anyone else did this, but within the first 5 minutes, it's like, you know, that moment of being asked to sit still for just a moment, long enough to talk about what's going on in your life. For me, it was just too much time for me to even look, because I did not want to look at the mess that was my life, or it felt like my life. So there were a lot of tears in the beginning about getting real with my situation. And what I've learned over the years, that well that Lisa talked about, was built by myself. It was like this deep, dark well. It sounds really negative. And on one hand, it was, because I felt stuck. It was dark. It was kind of lonely. And I wondered if I was the only person that felt that way. And I also wondered if anybody knew I was even in there, because I was able to look and act really together. Because all the beautiful moving parts of my life, my kids, my work, it's so easy to get busy. And I think in the last talk, I talked about hanging on my hook. It was like I was just hanging on this hook in my house, just waiting around for someone else to need me, because it was a whole lot easier to respond to their needs instead of even looking at my own. So that's kind of what built that place, was this living outside of myself and always caring about other people first, because I was really good at it. And I think as women, we're just naturally gifted at caring, being caregivers and caring for everybody else. And it's a wheelhouse that we actually inherit, that I inherited from my mother, and so on and so on. And me getting into the place where I needed Lisa was me buying into a whole bunch of shoulds. I should all over myself, is what they say. I should do this, I shouldn't do that. To be a good mom, I should do this, and so much judgment, so much pressure, and it was just too much, and I was really lost. It was all over the place. So the first thing I did was work with Lisa, because I figured, okay, if I want to figure this out, all I need, because I had done every other diet, I had done the carb addicts diet, I had done, and I lost the weight. I was really good at losing weight. Again, just to show, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. I'm good at this. Just stop with all the talky-talky. Just give me the whole binder. I'm gone. I'll see you in 10 weeks. You know, like, it was very much like that. And she's like, no, I'm going to give you a little nugget. Make you sit on that for a week, which I did not like. I was like, all right, protein schmotein, I got it. I'll eat chicken. I'll eat it 5 times a day. And so there was a real element of just I wanted to get going, because I was really good at doing. So this is the thing. We're really good doers. And I'm sure Lisa said this to you about the human doing versus being a human being. And I describe it like this. It's like we can do, and we're real good at it. But if someone grabs us by the shoulders and says, just wait a second, just hang out here for a second. It's just, the anxiety is like, no, you don't know. There's a tidal wave of stuff I haven't been with that's a-coming. And I do not want to be here when the wave hits the shore because I can't handle what's in that. And so sitting with Lisa was the first major crash, and it was rough. It hit me hard. If anyone's being pulled under by the undertow, that is what that felt like. And it was so uncomfortable. And many other things like humiliating, and ugh, it was not a good time. And I did refer to you as bacon in my last talk. The gateway meat, have you ever heard of bacon being talked about as the gateway meat for vegetarians? As soon as they taste it, they all of a sudden want back on the meat train because bacon is awesome. And so Lisa was my gateway into sorting my shit out. And I love that I called you my bacon last time, so I wanted to do it again. You're my bacon. She was my gateway meat because as soon as I started this program, whatever was happening, I think I now know why I responded so well, because in 10 weeks, I lost 27 pounds. I mean, almost 30 pounds. Oh, right? Yeah, I know. And I was so surprised because every week I was almost like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, I'd be like, she's telling me to do this, and she's wrong. And I have my smoothies in the morning, and they got all my flaxseed, and she wanted me to do that at night. I'm like, oh, it's bonkers. Anyway, so I was like, fine, I'll do it for a week. And then I'd go in the next week, and I'd be down another, like 1 week, it was like 12 pounds. It was stupid. And what I think happened was that there was a lot going on at the same time. And never underestimate the power that, sorry, Linda, emotions have, or being with things, or even just moving through the stuff that is in your life. Never underestimate the power of that can have, combined with, like, the being with some stuff combined with doing. Because I think that's what happened. I think everything in me was just ready, and I had that willingness to lean into not just her program, but because she was a gateway, I was willing to look into other things. So I started changing a couple of other things. My profession, I decided to go back to school and become a certified coach, and that was really interesting, and a lot of personal work in the process. So I think the two combined was just this awesome powder keg. Instead of it like, you know, blowing up and it being messy, it was like, yeah, blowing up, and it was just, my body was like, yeah, we're done. We've been carrying this around for far too long. And it felt really good. And so once I finished the course, I remember a few months later feeling really kind of freaked out because I knew that I've always gained the weight back. And I remember I'm trying to think of how we got there, but we were having a training session, and I realized there was an element that I was still kind of dragging around, which was sort of beating up the part of me that would always put the weight back on. And I had to kind of reconcile that, because the very person that I was kind of being like, I don't want to be her, I don't want to be her again, like trying to outrun the person that I was that would gain the weight back, I didn't acknowledge that that part of me was the very person that helped me get in the doors to come and see Lisa. So it was this really kind of meltdown moment of, oh God, I've been beating her up this whole time, and it's kind of this feeling of bringing her along with, that she didn't do anything wrong, and let's not make her wrong. And realizing that there's no finish line. That was another big thing. Like, what if there was no finish line? If it was just a process of doing my best, even though, like, honestly, I haven't stuck to the program 99% the whole time. Maybe a couple weeks I was really into it, but every week I would still do something that felt maybe slightly off course, but kind of good. Taste, like I would just indulge in something. But it's funny how the indulgences change. Like, now it's like, I'm putting way too much avocado in my salad. Wow. Like the range is really different now. And it's so funny. It's true. You'll see. You'll be like, oh, this is crazy. I'm not measuring my avocado or my peanut butter. Whoa, call Lisa. Whereas before, I would open up my cabinet and be like, what do I feel like eating? Was the big thing, the big gateway of like, I feel like eating chocolate. Of course, that's what I feel like eating. And then I would just do that. But so, yeah, it's funny now because I don't even worry about teetering or going back because, sorry to say, but you know too much now. You just do. You just know too much now. You don't even know it, maybe in this moment, but you do. And it's a good thing because you're just never going to go back if there's ever an element of going back. Sorry, but I've tried. I've kind of tried in a way because I wanted to almost prove that part of me right. And it just hasn't happened because she held me one day and she said, all right, let's just pretend that you just went crazy one day and just started, you know, filling your face and went nuts. Because I did the same thing Michelle did as well. Afterwards, I was like, done the 10 weeks. I'm just going to go crazy. And it lasted maybe 2 days. And I was like, I don't think I can maintain this. I really don't think I can. And she said, so she held me in that space again recently. And she said, really? Like, really, what are you going to do? Like, just pretend. And I was being very honest. And I thought, you know, I don't even know if I could do it for a whole day. I just don't think I really could. Because it just doesn't. It's funny how we can evolve and just, we're always changing. And the me now just doesn't talk the same or think the same. And it is a good thing. And also reconciling the parts of me that I've let go along the way and just said, oh, that just doesn't exist anymore. And it's very freeing. So yeah, so that inside out work, you also said that, by the way, Linda. I got to tell you, you said something about inside out in your talk. That's pretty coachy, just so you know. That is pretty, I love you. But it is. So I do a lot of work now from the inside out, like this inside out living, that instead of living out here for other people, I kind of trying to prove to myself that it wasn't a selfish thing to take care of myself first. And working with Lisa was the very first step that I did, that I took to do that and explore that and test it out, because I thought for sure, people are going to think I'm selfish, I don't like my kids enough, I like me more than my kids or my family or whatever. That was trying to tell me to prevent me from moving forward. And it was the exact opposite. I found out it's like the biggest joke on all of us, if anybody still believes that this whole being selfish thing, it's just a complete falsity. That what I learned was by actually filling my own cup up, this is a great metaphor that I love, that if we were all cups and we just focused on filling our cups up, I focus on filling my cup up first. And it sounds like a cliche, but what I love about it is if I'm committed to doing that all the time, what happens is the spillage that goes over the sides, my kids get that, and my friends get that, and my family gets that, and my job gets that. But if my job is solely to fill my cup up, it automatically happens. It just happens. There's nothing to do. There's actually less doing in that place because I have more to offer. I have more energy. I have more happiness. I have more peace. I have more connection. I have all these more things. And it's just wonderful to know that I proved it wrong. I proved that selfish thing wrong. And I want everybody here to just get a little piece of that, to just know that it's possible. If there's any part of you that's holding back in giving more to yourself for fear that it might look or feel wrong. And yeah, and so I don't know where I'm at today with it, with this program, and where I'm at is I lost 40 pounds in total. I put back maybe 8 or 10, and I don't really worry about it very much. Like what Linda was saying, I'm not really worried about it. Knowing that I'm refocusing, it's almost like a level of refocusing. You sort of play a little bit, you find your way, and it's finding your way. Because, oh, this was a good one. I kept trying to be Lisa. We discovered that recently because Lisa has a way of talking about things very matter-of-factly that we should just all get. And a lot of the times I was like, I don't know how long it's going to take for me to say the words that just came out of your mouth. But I think there was an expectation in there that I was supposed to. That I was supposed to talk like her. And I was supposed to get it like she got it. And it was so awesome when I realized I'm not. It was so freeing to know I just get to find my way, and it's totally cool. And it's better, it's easier. I was making it way harder on myself because I thought I was supposed to be that girl. And I don't know if she's brought up the that girl conversation. Yeah, so that girl doesn't exist, it's just me, and I do get to find my own way, and I just, so yeah, go find your own way and pay attention. I love that, pay attention. It's really, it's the first act of self-love and liberation that is available to us. And thank you for listening, and that's all I got to say about that.